be very, very dry. They put them on the roof of the building, as you're gonna see, and then they put the mold in there to get all the water, all the water till that point. There are, you're gonna see them, boxes for men like Don Jose. Do you remember the opera that Bizet composed, Opera Carmen?
Yes.
She was the one rolling cigars and cigarettes. Carmen, yes. And there were 14. You, Carmen, is there any Carmen in here?
Yes.
That's why. Carmen, how was your job? Okay, and rolling cigars and cigarettes. Why did the royal family, because it was a royal tobacco factory, hire women? It's easy. First thing, ladies and gentlemen, because our fingers are much thinner than the ones of the men. Yes. Now, we have been unfortunately much cheaper than men were. Sometimes it happens still nowadays. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we were not troublemakers. This is what the royal family told us, because we tried to be independent from our husbands and families in those days, to be freelance. And one more thing, we have been hygienic better than men. Why? Because we don't have so many hairs as the men have on the legs, and you had to roll them on the legs. That's why the royal family was clever hiring us. Now have a look at the beautiful tobacco factory. Look, from the 18th century. In nowadays, since we completely renovated the building in the 50s, this is the main seat of the university in town. Look, this is the building I'm talking about on the right hand side, with faculties of history, geography, foreign languages, and so on. Don't miss the bougainvillea. Look at this on the left hand side in the middle of the road that we shaped like trees. Can you see it? How beautiful they look like. And again, el feet. The horse has one hand, not the hoof, one hand up, because that means that the person riding on the horse passed away after that person has been very, very injured in the battle. When you see that the horse has the two hands on the ground, means the person riding the horse passed away, okay, because of natural causes. And when the horse has the two hands up, the person passed away in the battle. Okay, the horse is going to give you the information. Look at the tobacco factory on the right hand side. It's a beautiful building from the 18th century. Now you see much better the mold. The next corner of, for us, one of the boxes where Don Jose, he was a character, and Carmen had been a character. He was defending tobacco even with weapons. Look at the box, it's coming up to your right hand side. Now look at the balustrade of the tobacco factory is completely closed up, so no one was able to see anything, because tobacco was a commodity. It was very, very expensive in those days. People have been snuffing, have been chewing tobacco, and the way as we smoke it nowadays, it's supposed to be, it was invented by us Spanish people. I know it's not very healthy, but we invented it. On the left hand side, look, this is the beautiful San Telmo Palace. For you, Saint Elmo's Fire Palace. Do you remember who he was?
No.
The patron saint of navigators. In Spanish, when we say San Telmo, we remind you the same saint. And look at the beautiful sculptures we have on the roof to represent different men and women who did something important for our country. Now we That's why, ladies and gentlemen, when we turn left, we can see the main entrance of the Saint Elmo's Fire Palace. Look at the top inside of the monstrance, of the facade. We're gonna see that Saint Elmo's Fire. Look at him. He's holding on his hand a ship, because we are reminding you we used his name, San Telmo, to found in this building 400 years ago, the first school for navigators that we had in this country. In nowadays, this is the main seat of the president of our government in Andalusia. He works in there. At the same time, it's the palace that Princess Maria Luisa bought, ladies and gentlemen, when she moved out from Madrid to Seville to live in here with her family, with the Duke of Montpensier. You know him. He was the youngest son of the French King Louis Philippe. This is the religious family I told you that we inherited it from that lady, the Jardines de Maria Luisa, the park of the Maria Luisa. And then, ladies and gentlemen, which became finally the site of the exhibition of 1929. We're going to turn left to have a gorgeous view at the river. I remind you, this is an inland port. You're going to see now, look, on our right hand side, there is the beautiful golden tower. Look at the right hand side. Now, look at the top of the tower. We're coming back. We're going to use the same bridge to get back in the city. It has golden ceramics on the top. It's a very old tower. It was built by Moors, North African Muslims, in the year 1220 to defend the river. There was another tower exactly same on the other bank of the Guadalquivir. This is the name of the river, and they have been connected by a chain. So let me remind you, on the left hand side we have the mouth of the river. This is the Atlantic in there. People had to sail up the river from the south to the north. When civilians got the noise of people rowing, they extended the chains and all the ships crashed right there. So they never got the rest of the city because this was a bit outside of the city. The city, the real Seville, is just behind us. Now, on the way back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see now much better, not just the golden tower where people can climb it up, okay, because the view from the top is going to be gorgeous. There is now inside the Seamen's Museum. Look now, in front of you. The first tower on the left is the golden tower. The one on the background is the main symbol of this town, La Giralda. This will be more or less the place where we're going to finish our morning tour, and will be the meeting. We'll repeat everything later on one more time for the ones joining us in the afternoon. Look how big the river is. I want you to look at the iron bridge on your left hand side. It was built according to the plans of Gustav Eiffel. Does anyone remember the name? The Eiffel Tower in Paris. He was the same architect, and we used his plans to build this iron bridge because it was in there a wooden bridge that suffered all those floats of the river. The bridge fell into the river and people crossed the bridge same. And when they got in the river, and they, of course, they never survived in there because not so many people were used to swim as we can do now. Okay, the Catholic Church never buried anyone in those days who did not get the last oils. So the corpses poisoned the drinking water of our city. It was a very big problem. That's why Queen Isabel II, living in 19th century, she paid for that iron bridge. The round building we have on the background, these are government offices, and the very ugly tower. And Elena, when she's doing the panoramic tour, she always says the same thing. The tower looks like a lipstick. Okay, it's terrible. It's about 10-12 years old, and on the bottom there is a savings bank. On the top there is a 5-star hotel. The only good thing is the view from the rooftop part. That's it. And those two things, the tower and the round building, belong to the exhibition. To the place, to the site where we celebrated the second exhibition in town. This one was celebrated in 1992 to remind everyone the 5th centenary of the discovery of America, 1992. We are back at the San Telmo Palace, and listen, we have another building on the left-hand side of the palace, the grim one, in that corner. This is a beautiful, luxurious hotel, Alphonse XIII. It's nice to get in there, the ambience, the architecture, the tile works, that one in the corner. It's very beautiful. It's very near from by the cathedral where we're going to finish our tour, so everyone can come in there to have a coffee and to enjoy, believe me, this architecture. From now on, let's have a look at the different pavilions from the year 1929. Remember, it was an Ibero-American, American fair. This was Chile on the left hand side in pink, in white colors. Now this is a fine art school. The next one in yellow and white was Uruguay. Now this is part of our university. And don't miss the next one with the Spanish flag now on the balconies. This has been representing United States of America. Here we go. And US used as a replica the typical villa of Baja California, of Low California. The building still has a beautiful patio. And this was used after 14 months of that expo as their own consulate. And they sold it some years ago to us civilians. And in nowadays, this represents, or we use the bill for temporary expositions, is for modern art. But the place itself is beautiful. We're going to turn right to turn left then. And look, there is like a castle in the corner. Look at this. It was never a castle. This has been since the beginning the house of the keepers of the Maria Luisa Park. And we used it as a mixture between Muslims and Christians, and the name of this decoration is Mudejar, Mudejar. The beautiful house is in nowadays, okay, an information center of tourism of the city of Seville. Look at the left hand side now. The obelisk, and one gentleman asked me for Magellan, represents Magellan's life. We were talking about, for Portugal, he was never a hero because he had to leave his own country at the beginning of the 16th century when he realized that his king, Juan, he will never give him any money to circumnavigate the world, since King Juan thought that he was a thief, that he sold all documents how to get in the Indies to Spain. I think he never did this, but finally he got his money in a town, and it was Emperor Charles V paid for 5 ships and 242 people on board. Just one ship returned. Magellan was killed in the Philippines, and 18 people came back home. On the left, United States again, from the side entrance. The building made of bricks with past it just before is the new public library in town since 30 years. Look at the next one coming up to the left. It's made of balconies. We use mahogany wood. This is Peru. Now this is the Peruvian consulate. Look at the flag of Peru on one of the windows. The next building coming up, we put it under renovation. This is a disco bar. This is another kind of culture. Remember singing, dancing. And now the Theater Lope de Vega is for the Spanish opera. We call it Zarzuela. And the next building is beautiful with the dome. Look at this, made of mosaics. We're going to see the main entrance. This has been the pavilion representing the city of Seville in 1929. We use it as a check-in point, as a ticket office, because to get in the site of the expo, people needed to pay for. Now I'm going to pass the mic over to Amalia, because she's going to tell you the last logistics for the rest of the day. Amalia, they are all yours.
Hola, hola, here I am again. Listen, so now we're gonna get off the bus, and you need to decide whether you, after the visit, especially those of you not doing the afternoon tour, whether you want to stay downtown, because we're gonna finish in about an hour. Yeah, we're gonna walk a little bit through the Jewish quarter, and then in about an hour we'll be finishing by the cathedral. That's the shopping area, that's the monumental area. I'm pretty sure you will love to stay there, to spend the afternoon for have some nice lunch or something like that. So if that's the case, please take everything from the bus, because you will need it. Because Vasco is now going park somewhere, because he cannot take us into the city. The buses are not allowed, and he will come to pick us up after the second tour. That means even if you're not going to the second tour, you still want to ride, let me know. So I'll ask you once we finish this tour, right?